I met a gypsy.
And that's one thing with I know it's different in motocross, but with Chad, with Kenny, with all of them, they're fucking bikes.
I agree.
Bikes. The way they set them up. I mean, it's like always the bike. I'm like, just fucking believe you can win. I don't care. Like, just get it to where you want and quit fucking with it. Like, I get so. I mean, Chase is probably gonna rail me for this, but and Kenny and Chase. It's not just Chase.
But you know what? Good on you for fucking saying it.
Because I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, I don't get it.
They don't want to hear it, and there's a lot of people around them that won't say it. And it's like you're coming from. I'm gonna fully defend your perspective here. I went off on this on the last podcast actually. Like Cooper Webb is never the fastest. So the last guy that did the podcast, Clinton Fowler, he does all the statistics. He built this gnarly database, right?
Yeah.
So he knows what position. Every single lap of Chase's fucking career is in this guy's database.
Yeah.
And he knows what position he ran in the first turn, like literally every stat, right? So anyway, I basically said the same shit. I was like, I fucking love Cooper Webb because he's never the fastest guy. And he's won 2 championships. 2. And he's always winning races. The year he won his championship, he won the most races. Like he is a dude that can win. And it's never the fucking bike. And it's never he's the fastest. Like, he is a guy that understands that there is an art to winning that goes far beyond the scope of being the fastest guy on the best bike.
100%.
But the problem is there's this whole fucking culture of motocross and supercross athletes where they've watched Ricky Carmichael win as the fastest. They watched James Stewart win as the fastest. When Chad won his title in 2024, he was the fastest. So we've had this, like, the fastest guy wins. And if you're not the fastest on any given day, why?
Yeah, the bike.
It's my fucking bike.
I know.
So you've got this guy that's on the start line that has, and so I've said all this, had me fucking rant. And I said to Clinton Fowler, I was like, how many times has Cooper been the fastest in his career?
Yeah.
So you got a guy, he's won the second most amount of races this year, and he was the fastest once. And it was one of the first time in his career that he was the fastest in practice, won his heat race, and was the fastest in the main event, won the main event. One time. In his entire career. 2-time fucking champion. So it's like, something's lost here. Like, if we had fucking 5 of him on the line, how crazy would racing be?
Yeah, sure.
Because imagine 5 dudes that didn't give a fuck if their bike was perfect and didn't give a fuck if they were the fastest.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was getting at with, like, the Lance thing. Like, you read his book, like, he did not give a fuck. You know?
No, he's that type of guy. He'd go somewhere, just got, tweak this bike a little bit and just, okay, I can ride it. It wasn't like I have to have, the seat like 2 centimeters and the stem and the thing turned this way and that way. It was just, but I can't talk shit like you can because I've never ridden a motorcycle so I don't know.
But also, I can't talk shit because I've never ridden it at their level.
Yeah, so I don't know how
we're both got to.
Yeah, but I just want all my guys to have the mentality like, okay, my bike's kind of good, I can win.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Like, that's what I want. Like,
well, the proof is that's why I bring up Cooper Webb.
Yeah,
because he's the living example.
Yeah.
He's on the gate doing that. And why more people haven't cottoned on to that?
Yeah,
like you watch Seattle where he beat Seattle.
Yeah,
Chase was faster than him.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't beat him.
No, and granted with Chase, I think Chase did have a lot of problems getting used to the KTM. I think
sure.
I think it was a lot harder than he thought.
Yeah,
and we went through a lot of. During boot camp, it was just not fun because it was a new bike.
His mind was elsewhere almost.
Well, he was just worried about it because he had all this pressure. I mean, look, he's a young kid. He had won this championship. He had all this pressure on him, new bike. And I just think part of it was mental. A lot of it was the bike. And and now I think he's finally getting it figured out like this last couple of weeks. Now I finally see him like never talking about it and like, okay, it's good. It's good. And it's fine now. But I don't know, the bike thing. It's just a weird. I've always seen it ever since Chad. Chad was the same way. He'd tinker with it all the time.
He might have been one of the worst.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's one thing that, I don't, like I say, I can't really talk shit because I'm not riding that fast. I don't know the corner, like what one little tiny click on the thing makes a difference. But I just want Chase and all those guys to go, "Okay, if the thing's totally off, I can still win. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, I can't win on this bike because it's, the suspension, like the rear is too high or whatever it is. But, they're all like, I mean, they're all like that. So,
Yeah, it's a culture, and
yeah,
like it's only been recently, and
yeah.
I'm in a weird position because I'd say Chase is a friend of mine, like
Hmm.
not close friend. We don't
Yeah.
talk every day, but I've got a lot of time for the guy, a lot of respect
Yeah.
for the guy. Anytime we see each other,
Hmm.
I'm always saying like,
Yeah.
generally care about how he is doing,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But then also my job to do this, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck,
I know.
you
I
know.
know. Yeah.
So
Me too.
I got to say how I see it, and I think it's literally just a culture, and it's like if you look at who Chase looked up to growing up, it would have been Chad Reed, and it
Hmm.
would have been. And what do they say on the podium?
Yeah.
You know, they're
The
like,
bike was
the bike. So it's like, and then the other thing to think about when it comes to motocross and supercross is like there's a whole team of people that their job is to get the bike better.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
know. Yeah.
if you took all those people away
Then
and
no
you took
jobs.
all those options away, then it's almost like paralysis by analysis,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, and they're not going away because the
Yeah.
suspension guy at KTM needs to keep his job and this guy needs to keep his job. And so I was like, what about it? So there is like
Yeah.
it's quite a mess of things that need to come together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of variables and there's a lot of people pushing and pulling. And that I think that's where that mentality and for Chase, it's like the pressure of this and the new bike and it's like, cool, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like there is a level of like mentality that you could have that would strip you of that pressure.
Hmm.
Because what is pressure?
Yeah.
Pressure's a story.
Yeah.
And you with the Joe Dispenza stuff,
Yeah.
it's like it's all a fucking
In a
story.
story.
It's
Yeah.
all a story.
Yeah. And Chase, but I think in the next 3 years, I think the whole switching the bike and Jet doing so well, and it's just a lot of little things that
Yeah.
you know
It's
went
for
on,
sure there.
and it's there. I mean, he hasn't lost his. This next couple of years, I think there's going to be some major battles with him and Jet, because
I
just
hope
the
so.
last race, Chase was fastest lap. In the last race, he's been the fastest the last couple races, so it's
But
there
again,
now.
we're just saying you don't even need to be the
No,
fastest.
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's where that meant. I want him to get that mentality. We're like, okay, I don't have to be I can still, racecraft. I can still win. I'm in control, not the bike.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell Chase. I want you to feel like you're in control of the race, not the bike's in control of how you race.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that. Like I'm in control as the rider, not the bike. I can win on anything. It's like you have to have that, or else you go on the line with no confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, and a guy like Lance
It
has
didn't
that
matter.
in
No,
spades.
but don't get me wrong. Lance was very meticulous with his bike. I mean, he went in the wind tunnel. He wanted every advantage he could get. Every
Yeah, that makes
material.
sense.
Like the aero position and the eating and he was. But once he got out there, even in training, it was the same way. He just had this confidence where he just went. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It wrecked me. But I've seen it with the baseball guys like Justin Verlander and those guys I train, the John Carlo, that they have that same mentality. It's like it's just a different breed. They're a
Yeah.
different breed.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.